You're watching today's Homesteader channel here at Peaceful Valley Ranch in Cotopaxi, Colorado, starring yours truly, Johnny Jules. All right, Homesteader family. So I'm coming back with you guys with a new video. It's going to be an addition to my previous video. I talked about it on the Sunday Monday vlog for when Max turned 2 months old. And that's going to be another video on the lies about homesteading. So some of my subscribers or some people know that my channel is not a big channel. I'm lucky if I get, 20, 30 views on a video when I put a video out. But I got such a big explosion on the Lies About Homesteading video. It's right now, a week ago, it's up over 520 views. I got a lot of feedback. I got emails. I got comments and everything else about the video. And a lot of people liked it. I think I got a couple thumbs down. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying that quite attention to it or whatever. But anyhow, there's a lot of topics that people wanted me to address that weren't addressed in that video. And a couple things about YouTube for the homesteading channels also that they wanted me to talk about. So here we go. This is going to be the Lies About Homesteading Part 2. So one of the big things that a lot of people have made comments about my channel, and I don't want to brag or anything like that. And like I said, I'm not putting any other channels' names down because I don't want to kick anybody down or put out any bad vibes about other channels. I'm just saying, what people have said to me and what people wanted me to address in this second video. And that is a lot of channels, not only are they not telling the truth, but they're doing a Hollywood effect. And what I mean by the Hollywood effect is, they're walking through the woods and there's a camera in front of them. There's a camera behind them. There's a camera this way. And if something happens, they got it on film. Well, with my videos, a lot of my stuff, as it happens, is not on my film. Why? Because I am not setting up the videos. I am not creating fictitious content on my channel. I don't sit a chicken on a cow's back, or I don't put a goat on top of a car or anything like that and then go ahead and get the photos. And that's one of the lies about the homesteading YouTube channels is people are creating. They are trying to do what Hollywood's doing in movies, and they're trying to make everything picture perfect. They're trying to edit everything. And you can see in my videos, I stutter, I say the wrong words, I trip, I fall, I do whatever. I don't have all these cameras all over the place. I don't stage everything. I don't have a script. I mean, you can look right there on my lap. I got a coffee cup. Here's my other hand that was just moving the camera. There's nothing anywhere around me. So I do not have a script that I'm reading from. And look, here's a 360. All the way around, I have nothing. I have no camera screens. I have no lighting effects. As you can see, my lights over here are off. That's light coming from the window and just the lights in the kitchen and everything else. So that's another thing everybody's doing. They're making the best lighting. They have the clips for the static wind. And they want to make Hollywood movies. And I understand. Guess what? If this is what you do for a living and this is the money that you make to survive on, I understand. Like I said, I'm not here to make a ton of money and go on to Patreon and all this other stuff. So that's one of the big things people were commenting on is in my channel, I'm real. I say it as it is. I don't edit my stuff. If I make a video and have a mistake in it, guess what? You guys see the mistake because that's how I am. I'm not spending all this time, all this money on the fancy equipment and everything else. The only thing I do want to spend some money on is I would like a voice clip for windy days so you can hear me and I don't have to do a voiceover later here at the house on that video. And I also would like to eventually purchase a drone so I can do some overhead shooting for like hiking with the goats and things like that. And a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing at the new ranch, so I want to do something like that. But back to the video at hand. So that's one of the major things about the lives of channels. You see these channels, everything's picture perfect. Animals are in their perfect place. They act perfectly. All the landscaping's manicured. All the pens are clean. You don't see the bad parts. Everybody just wants to fluster you and flatter you with beauty and the simplicity and the beautifulness of homesteading. But they don't show you the other side. They don't show you, the 3 hours they spend cleaning out all the barns and the pens and redoing it. They don't show you how much it costs for all the new bedding, how much it costs for the feed, how much it costs for the fence panels and T-post and what have you, what it costs to build a barn, thousands of dollars. So these are things that a lot of you that are viewing this video need to be aware of, because there are a lot of costs and everything is not as picture perfect as it seems on a homestead. Now, like I said in the first video, The Lies About Homesteading, homesteading is a great way of life, but you got to realize all these lies because you want to know both the positives and the negatives before you enter any type of arena or space of event of what you're going to take place in, or process, i.e. homesteading. Before you start homesteading, you need to look at all these things. So that takes me on to the next lie about homesteading, and that is relationships. A lot of people commented to me and sent me some emails about the relationship side of homesteading, and a lot of channels now are becoming the couples. So you have two people homesteading, the husband, the wife, yada, yada, yada. And everybody that's single out there that wants to homestead like me don't realize. And that is, most of those couples, they started out in the city. They found love and marriage before homesteading. When you are single and homesteading, that's one of the biggest lies out there in the homesteading YouTube community or video community, is that you can have the perfect family while homesteading. The problem is, if you start homesteading before you had that family, before you had that wife, before you had that girlfriend, it is nearly impossible to find a partner. Whether, it's a male, female, whatever, because when you're homesteading, you're out here in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere, and girls, guys, what have you, do not grow on trees. So for me to find a girlfriend, I've got to go to town or do online dating, which I hate online dating, so that's not a possibility for me. So that limits me down to, I'm going to have to go to town. I'm going to have to run into a cashier or a waitress or a gas attendant or something that finds me attractive, is interested in me, and single, and wants to live in the country. All in that matter of what? Minute to hour, depending on what I'm doing, whether I'm sitting down for dinner or stopping to get gas or checking out at a checkout line. So it is extremely hard when you're homesteading in the middle of nowhere to find that partner unless you went to middle of nowhere with a partner. And that's another thing about homesteading that a lot of you need to consider, is before you move out to the country and before you start this adventure, if you're wanting a family, if you want a partner, you're going to have to find somebody before you do that. Because once you're out there, you're limited on where you're going to find a partner, let alone find a partner that wants to live out of society, out of the materialistic world of, needing to be next to a Starbucks, needing to be, 2 blocks from their job and everything like that. So if you're looking for that as a homesteader, knowing this, I would highly recommend you find somebody that will start a relationship with you in the city, and then hopefully that partner is willing to try going into homesteading and will move out to the countryside with you. Besides that, like I said, it's going to be extremely hard. That's why I'm still single, because, going into a small town like Canyon City with 20,000 people, there's not a lot of people to choose from. And like I said, a lot of people are in relationships in town. So to find somebody single between the couple places I go to, you know, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. You just got to keep looking for it. So that's another lie that, everybody's portraying, that, you can homestead in the country, have the perfect family, and it just happened. They don't say, I found my wife in the city, we went to this college, we were at this business school, or, what have you. So that's another thing to consider. Then we're going to move on to the next lie about homesteading. That's the big lie about the perfect homesteads. Now, a lot of people have their homesteading channels. They're in the best parts of the world, best parts of the USA, their country, whatnot. And everybody looks at their homestead. They got beautiful gardens. They've got beautiful animals, fruit trees, just all these different things that make the picture perfect, to say it cliche. And that is, they don't talk about they're at sea level. They're in one of the best soil condition areas in the world. They have some of the best weather in the world. Or that the ease of homesteading is easiest where they are. I'm going to be moving to the new homestead. Here at Hummingbird, I'm at 8,500 feet. The new homestead is over 9,200 feet, with the highest point being over 94. So how many homestead channels out there are going to be showing homesteading at high elevation? Homesteading in Colorado, homesteading in the mountains. That's going to be the key. There's not a lot of channels out there that are homesteading in extreme elements or environments, where if you're in that same environment, you can look up. How many people can look up homesteading in Cotopaxi, Colorado? How many homesteading channels are there in Cotopaxi, Colorado? I don't know. I've never looked. So that's on you guys. I'm sure some of you guys looked, and that's how you found my channel. But, that's the thing. Everybody makes it look so easy. I had somebody comment from Canada that they have -30, -40, -50 degree weather. He has a homestead, but there's no homestead channels out there that he can look up to find, similar climates, similar temperatures, elevations, everything like that, in order for him to know. He looks for homesteading channels, and they're in Florida, they're in Texas, they're in Kansas, Nebraska, Tennessee, all these places that it's so easy to homestead, so easy to grow stuff. Beautiful temperatures. Only has a 2 to 4 month winter versus a 6 to 8 month winter like I have. So these are just different lies that, it's not that somebody's trying to lie to you, but it goes back to that Hollywood effect, that they're showing you everything is so beautiful, so simple, so easy. But nobody takes the time on their channel to say, hey, this type of lifestyle, this type of gardening might not work where you are. You might need to reconsider what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is not going to work for everybody. People don't do that anymore. They just want everybody to think they can have what they have, and everybody jumps into homesteading not knowing that, guess what? A pear tree won't grow at my elevation. I can't grow corn because my season's not long enough. I have to have better shelters and bedding for my animals so they don't freeze to death in the winter. I have to haul water out every day because at -40 degrees, the water freezes. Just say 2 hours. Every 2 hours you got to take water, or you have to have a heater in that bucket. It's things like this that people aren't realizing when they jump into this homesteading movement, into this homesteading lifestyle, that everything's not as easy as you see on these people's channel. And that's why I'm excited, about how many people are jumping onto my channel now. Like I said, I'm used to 20, 30 views on a video, and the previous Lies About Homesteading video got over 500 views. And then when my rocket stove videos is up over 1,200 or 1,400 views. So, I mean, it's really humbling on the comments and emails I get from everybody out there, because I don't see how my channel is better than everybody else's channel. I don't see how my channel does more than other channels. But, these are comments I'm getting, and, I'm just filming my life. Like I said, I started this whole project as a way to look back at my life when I'm, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, and look back and be like, this is what I've done with my life. This is how I live my life. And, be able to share it. And for everybody that wants to join the journey, I mean, it humbles me on, how I'm making a difference out there. And that's why Peaceful Valley Ranch, PVR, is going to be turned into a trust. And, I want to have this available for future homesteading families and people that want to do this. And it's really amazing what you guys do. And, just like I said, I'm making this second video because there's been so much response, and you guys have really taken to the previous video, and that's why I'm doing this other one. So anyhow, let's get back to the video and not on the tangent. So one was the Hollywood effect, and everybody wants to make videos. Two was the relationships. I might have this wrong. My mind is so far gone. But anyhow, back onto the topics. So, like I said, people have, made Hollywood videos. They edit their videos. They make everything picture perfect, cameras, lighting, everything like that. Then you got relationships that just aren't that easy. And then third, you got the discrepancies in one homestead to another. People all look at these fancy homesteads, think they can do it in their climate, their elevation. They can't. And then that takes me on to the next one, and that is the social aspect. And that's a big one. A lot of people, because, we're kind of taught, brainwashed, whatever terminology you want to use, that we have to be in society. We have to work a 40-hour job. We have to communicate with these people. We have to be part of this clique and this clique and that clique. Don't talk to these people. Don't talk to these people. These people are good. These people are bad. So we move out to the country, and that's the next huge aspect that I got a lot of response on from people. And that is, a lot of these people that comment, they jump into homesteading and they don't realize that homesteading can be a really lonely way of life. And like I said, these channels make picture perfect homesteads. They're happy, they're smiling. And, some of the channels that I watch, I see this. I mean, I can't say that I don't know they're lying, because I know they're lying. But that's another human condition we have, is the entertainment. We want the entertainment. And I'm subscribed to some channels because they're happy, they're bubbly, none of their videos are negative and everything like that. But that puts you into a falsehood. And I understand that puts me into a falsehood also. But sometimes you just need that, because when you're homesteading, when you get into the homesteading life, even if you have that partner that moves out with you, because the human genes or genetics or whatever it is, or the brainwashing that we're taught from a child up to adulthood, is you got to be part of society. And so you get lonely. You want to talk to people. You want to do things with people. You still want to go out to the bar, to the movies, to a restaurant, things like that. And a lot of people don't understand the social aspect. When you move in the middle of nowhere, you don't have that. And especially if you're a single homesteader like me, and you don't have that partner, you don't have that family for another communication, you're lonely. And that's, I go to town, I get my fix on people, but one of the things that you can adjust to and change is your mind. Instead of being brainwashed and taught that you have to be part of society and that is what makes you happy, start changing your mind to your animals. Your animals, hold on one second. Max is crying, so I think he wants to come in. I left him out with his mama. What's up, little man? What's up, little man? You coming in? Yeah? Alright. I had Max out. I chained Minnie up, who is his mother, so that way they could stay outside and not run around, smack my camera and everything else. You want to come say hi, Max? Come say hi to all the people on YouTube. Say he's a happy, happy boy. And, oh, yeah. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Your animals can give you all the happiness, all the socialization, the love, the hugs, the kisses that you get from humans. And, I go out on hikes with my goats. I hold Max and he gives me hugs and he cuddles with me on the couch. Minnie will cuddle on the couch. When I bring Mickey home, he cuddles on the couch and everything like that. So it's not just all about society that you have to be in, but that's a big part that a lot of people sent a lot of emails about, was the fact that, they've been homesteading, they went through divorces, or they moved out to a homestead and their wife or girlfriend couldn't handle it. So they moved back to the city, broke up with them, ended their engagement, ended their marriage. And, they're looking for how they can find somebody while living in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, I don't have that answer, because if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be single right now. I would be in a relationship with somebody that I found the right way. But like I said, it's going to be the luck of the Irish. You're going to have to, run into that perfect circumstance or find that perfect person in just happenstance, because they don't grow on trees in the middle of nowhere. And how I find my happiness, like I said, I go to town once a week, sometimes twice a week, to get my fill. Like Home Depot is my second life, because I'm in there all the time buying stuff for the homestead. And when I built my house here at Hummingbird, I'm always in there buying material. So I know everybody there. I can go there, get a cup of coffee at the pro desk and sit there and bullshit with people for an hour or whatever. And, if they have a slow day at Home Depot, it gives them something to do besides sit there and twiddle their thumb. And it gives me my people time of talking to somebody. So all I can say for those of you that have asked me about that and to put that into this video is look at your homestead, look at your life, look at your animals, and most of all, I found this out, look at yourself. If you cannot be happy being alone and you're not happy with yourself, you'll never find happiness anywhere else. Because until you can be happy being alone and happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy in life, because you're always going to have that flaw inside of you, in your heart, your mind, your soul, that there's something missing. So like I said, first, be happy with yourself. Be happy being alone. I did that before I even started homesteading. I've lived out here at Hummingbird for this summer will be 7 years. And I've learned to live with myself. I've learned to love myself. I've learned to be happy with myself and be able to live without people and without things. And then, like I said, once you have that nailed down, look at homesteading. look at animals. Because just like you just saw Max, he puts his head right in the crook of my neck. He cuddles on me. There's nothing like having an animal come up, give you a kiss, give you a hug, be able to cuddle with them. You know, I go over to the homestead, and if you've been watching my channel, you see the videos. I pull up, all the animals come running to me. I walk down to the pond, the ducks, the geese come running out to greet me. Yes, you know, they want food too, but, you know, you've seen videos, if you watch my channel and follow along on this journey, that, you know, the goats come up, they give me kisses. I can go hug on a goat. I can go piggyback riding on my pigs. I can, you know, have that connection, that affection with the animals. And that's the next step. After you're happy with yourself, have that great, happy connection with your animals. Because when people aren't there and people are stabbing you in the back and not being honest, trustworthy, your animals will always be there for you. And then after that, look at your homestead. Look at the views you have, the trees, the plants, the wildlife. I mean, it all brings in just happiness. You've got to untrain yourself from the city lifestyle and get right with yourself, get right with your life. And that's going to be the last topic that I just dove into on that last sentence. And that is the train of thought from the city life to the homesteading life is one of the biggest lies out there. And that is, everybody thinks you can just go ahead, save up the money, buy land, move out to a homestead, and you're going to have a happy ending, perfect way of life. We're going to be amazing. And that's wrong, because look at the human mind, look at the human soul, the human heart, everything like that. We are taught from day one in society to be in society, to be in concrete structures, to be under a roof, to not like nature, to think it's something way out in the middle of nowhere. We're taught that we need to stay in, live in, and be in the city for our whole lives, working in a concrete jungle, not doing anything that refreshes our heart and our soul, our mind, our way of thinking. And that's one of the things that is not being said on homesteading channels. And I see that a lot, because when I did my research prior to getting into homesteading, I of course went on, looked at all these channels, and that's one topic a lot of people don't hit on, and that is the transaction or transition. Once again, wrong terminology, wrong word. It is what it is. It won't be edited out. But the transition from city life to homesteading life is totally different. When you're in the city, you're used to being busy 24/7, non-stop. You're used to communication with people all the time. You're used to having what you want at a moment's notice or right down the block. You're used to hopping in your car, being at the store within 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes for some cases. And that's just not the case in the country. Now, yes, you can be busy 24/7 setting up the homestead, but once the homestead's set up, what do? You have all this time. You just made your whole life easy. You set up automatic water systems. You set up automatic feeders. You set up automatic doors. Whatever you did to make life easier on the homestead, because you got tired of working 10, 12-hour days on the homestead. Well, if you're not working 10 to 12-hour days on the homestead, you're going to have that big void. And that's the same as moving from the city to the homestead. You're not going to have everything you had in the city that you have in the countryside. And that's going to be a major, major void that you're going to have to learn how to fill. You're going to have to learn, how not to be as busy, how not to be able to turn and, if you forget a stick of butter, to turn around and go right back to the store. In the country, you might be an hour away from the grocery store. I'm about 30 to 45 minutes away right now from Canyon City here at Hummingbird, when I move to Peaceful Valley Ranch, I'm going to be 11 miles farther. So I'll be not 59. I'll be 49 miles away from town. Now I do have the Cotopaxi store that has a small grocery part. They're only 15.8 miles away. But still, when you're trying to live the homesteading life and you have a limited amount of funds and you're trying to live a more simple, simplistic way of life, you've got to consider all these different things. So that's pretty much it on the lies of homesteading, on the several topics that I was asked to talk about, because that's not out there in the community. And honestly, I didn't even think about these topics when I made that first video. And I'm glad that you guys emailed and commented about these problems, because you're right. These are things that I have not said on my channel, that others haven't said on their channel, that need to be addressed, that people need to be able to see and know before we get into homesteading. So I once again thank everybody for the comments, the emails, the likes, the shares, the viewing of the video. And I hope this helps everybody out. And addresses the issues. And have a great day. And I'll talk to you guys later. I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys for watching my videos, for donating, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.